concierge medicine and an executive health program, and which one actually moves the needle for a CEO and any other A-level leader. If you're paying for access, same-day appointments, and a great annual physical, that is helpful, but access isn't an operating system. Today, I'm going to show you where concierge stops and where executive health begins, and how to choose the right tool for the outcomes you want. Welcome, I'm Julian Hayes II, founder of Executive Health, and we help CEOs, entrepreneurs, and other A-level leaders optimize their billion-dollar assets so they can thrive in their business, lead in their communities, and most importantly, be more present with their families. So for leaders, health decisions are not just personal. They are strategic. One foggy morning, one missed signal, a slow recovery, all these things can cost you a key deal. All these things can cost you a bad quarter. All these things can weaken your overall edge, your overall swagger. And concierge medicine, when we think about it, is something that excels at convenience and relationships. But convenience without precision, community, and accountability creates what I call blind spots. So early risks get missed, performance leaks linger, and you're left coordinating experts between flights and board meetings. So as the stakes rise, the question shifts from, can I get in to see my doctor quickly, to, do I have a data-driven health and performance system that compounds advantages over the years? And as you know by now, I love things in threes. It's one of my favorite numbers. It was my number playing basketball. So I have 3 big points with this to talk about these two entities. And the very first one is to think about scope and depth. And you can further break this down between access and precision. And so when we think about concierge medicine, it heavily prioritizes access. It excels in that type of thing. You have direct physician communication. You have same-day visits. You have longer appointments. You have efficient referrals, a great referral networking, and you have solid preventative basics. I would actually say it's way above average in terms of the preventative basics. It's essentially upgraded primary care with a white glove touch. Now, when you think about like a executive health program, and not even just the one that we have here, which I love, but I have friends and everything, peers that have theirs as well. Anything like this builds a comprehensive baseline and precision plan. So you have advanced lab panels, you have biomarkers that you're looking at, you have body composition markers, cardiovascular risk stratifications, cognitive and sleep profiling, wearable data integration for those who like to have wearables. You have circadian and light environment reviews, and you have performance routines. So it's not just access there. You're not just getting seen faster, but you're getting a full stack health map. You're getting an entire ecosystem, a 360-degree review of your health, and a strategy that's tied to your role, your travel, your stress cycles, your decision load, and I would say most importantly, and one that people forget, your psychology. How are you hardwired? That's the one that people forget a lot of times. The second principle is execution and continuity. So you can break this down in a comparison of episodic visits versus an operating system. And once again, concierge medicine is fantastic for acute needs, routine care, and those things that being alleviated and mitigated expeditiously. But oftentimes after the appointment, after the 2-day reviews of everything, implementation is largely left up to you to go fish for yourself, to go implement, to go execute for yourself. Whereas a more comprehensive program is going to function more like a health and fitness operating system. So for example, for some people, it's a 3-month roadmap. For some, it's a 6-month roadmap. For us at Executive Health, it is a 13-month roadmap. I like the number 13. One, because things happen over the course of a year. And so the extra month is a buffer for life. Also, people think 13 is unlucky, so I decided to take the number. And so you have regular touch points, you have data reviews, you have coordinated teams, you have performance coaches, you have sleep, strength, and nutrition, stress protocols, all this good stuff. All these things are executing in the background. And even better, you're able to make these things digestible. The beauty of health and medicine and wellness, fitness, whichever words you want to use, there's so much great information now. We have access to so much data now, and it's not hard to get. The thing now is, what do I do with all the data? What do I do with all these numbers? And that's where it's useful to translate this data into digestible and weekly behaviors, and to have little small, I would say, habits and goals to go after. That helps with this. And to also have it as a way that a lot of these things you don't have to think about as much. You're outsourcing and delegating aspects. So you could focus more on different board meetings you're going to have. Depending on if you got a startup, you're looking to raising capital, depending on what level of a series you're at. You have travel, you have different seasons of life, you got family, and all these things. So this is a way to kind of help you outsource and delegate a little bit and get a little bit off your plate. And that leads me perfectly into the third point that I have here in my notes, is outcomes and accountability. Comparatively, satisfaction versus measurable KPIs. Where I think in concierge medicine, you measure access, you measure responsiveness, you measure patient satisfaction. Those are important, but it's not the whole picture, because it's a snapshot. Once again, mostly it's a couple of days. Whereas a more comprehensive program, of course, it's going to be longer term, but you're tracking leading and lagging indicators. You're thinking about cardiovascular health, like your VO2 max, like your HRV. You're thinking about things like your sleep architecture. How's the breakdown of your sleeping looking? How are you waking up each morning? Are you restful? Are you groggy? What are you? You're looking at fat-free mass. You're looking at visceral fat. You're looking at A1C, insulin resistance, so many different things. You're looking at your omega-3 index. You're breaking that down even more, if you want, into looking into the types of fats, the composition of that. What's your DHA content looking like? Inflammation markers, cognitive windows, recovery capacity. These are a lot of things, not to just throw at you, but for each of us, a lot of these things I named off, some of these are going to be of a focus more than others, just due to, by default, the way we live life. And then, of course, you have privacy and discretion, and these things should be assumed. And this includes NDAs when they are appropriate. So progress is reviewed quarterly, like a board meeting, where you look at the wins, the gaps, and the next actions. That is one of the things as well. There's a lot more of a day-to-day reviewing and monitoring compared to just a 2-day thing and then going from there. Now, some of the objections you're going to hear. Well, I already have a great concierge doctor. Do I need to even think about programming? And the answer is to think of concierge as elite access to medical care. So this is like the quarterback for your primary care and your urgent needs. Whereas a more like an executive health program or any type of fitness program that someone's going to offer, that's the general manager and the operations team. This is the system that sets the strategy, that runs the playbook, that holds the scoreboard. They're complementary. For example, with us, we partner with different concierge physicians, if you already have one, or we leverage and connect you to the one that we have. And so you get both responsiveness and relentless execution. But isn't this overkill if you're already healthy? That's another common thing that you would hear. Well, The bar for elite leaders is higher than I'm normal and not sick and I feel okay. So small compounding advantages, especially when it comes to our cognition and energy. This is everything. Deeper levels of sleep, lower inflammation. These small things create outsized returns as it pertains to our professional world. So one fatigue decision can cost far more in a year than, I'm just going to be frank. One bad decision can cost far more in a year than someone's maybe annual salary. That's just the level of the game that a lot of you are playing with. And another thing is, I don't have time. Well, this is exactly why having some sort of system set up for yourself is essential. Having something to where you're outsourcing and delegating a lot of the heavy lifting, the analysis, the coordination, and the translation. And therefore, now your time investment is tight and high leverage. So convenient concierge medicine is fantastic. If you want more of an edge, more of an operating system that's precise community and accountability, that's where you're looking for some type of more of a program on top of that. And so if you already have a concierge, the best move is to integrate it. So have responsiveness plus a long-term operating system. And so if that resonates or any questions, schedule a private executive health diagnostic call. In that session, we'll map out your baseline. We'll highlight the top gaps and opportunities. Also, a 90-day plan that you can go ahead and start to use that will get you going. Whether you work with us or not, we will help you get going further in the right direction. So until next time in the next video, optimize today so you can lead tomorrow. Peace.